Hola amigos, let's talk about the next most important step in this process, which is how to handle the call when it rings. Um, in this video, I'm going to walk you through some initial customer service training, including how to handle inbound leads like a pro, even if you're just getting started. So at this point, you've started setting up your online presence and distributing flyers, which means you have to be prepared for the phone to start ringing and sending people text messages. So your job now is to start turning that interest into action and start signing students up and building a list for future classes. So your goals for now are to create a list of prospective students, to learn about the student, and collect the relevant information. So you want to make sure that you know what their native language is and what language they want to learn. In this situation, it should be their native language should be Spanish and they want to learn English. You need to find out if they need to take an evaluation or if they need to start from the beginning, what times and days they're available to take classes, and if they prefer in-person or online classes. And if you can, you want to go ahead and try to schedule an introductory class to start teaching and start getting comfortable with this program. All right, so before you do anything, go ahead and set your voicemail up. You can use this exact script. This is what I use. Feel free to put something else, but this works, so go ahead and do this. You're basically saying, who the person's communicating with. It's important to use your name and both your business name. I explain to people that I'm always in class and that's why I don't answer the phone. So to please leave me a message with name and telephone number and I'll call them back as soon as possible. So what that sounds like is, hola, se ha comunicado con David el profe con The Language School. Siempre estoy en clase y no puedo contestar el teléfono. Por favor, déjeme su nombre y número de teléfono y le devolveré la llamada lo más antes posible. Gracias. What you want to do is make sure that your voicemail is clear, and you actually should do it with a smile on your face. They've done a lot of studies on this, and people can hear the smile. So you want to transmit that friendly message through your voicemail. It needs to sound professional, and it should definitely be in Spanish so that people understand it. Okay, in the event that I answer the phone, this is what I say. Hola, se ha comunicado con David el profe con The Language School. ¿En qué le puedo servir? And no matter what they ask, and believe me, they're going to ask a whole bunch of questions. Oftentimes, they're not going to answer your questions, and you always have to redirect it back to what you need to do, which is to collect the information. So be prepared for them to ask questions about the price, times, and location, but you're not actually going to answer that yet. No matter what they say, you're going to say, qué bueno, pues soy David y yo ayudo a hablantes y adultos de español a comenzar a hablar inglés lo más rápido posible por medio de clases de conversación y asimilación cultural. Estas no son clases tradicionales, son dinámicas, divertidas y poderosas. Desde la primera clase vas a estar hablando inglés. So with this, you're establishing yourself as an expert. You're letting people know that this is way different than anything else they've done before. And what that's doing is building credibility and trust, curiosity, and getting people excited to work with you. So then you want to focus in on the information you need to capture, right? The first question I always ask people is to find out where they're starting. ¿Quiere comenzar desde cero o prefiere hacer una evaluación para determinar su nivel actual? You'll be surprised at how many people don't know if they speak English or not. So no matter what they say here, you really need to make it simple. You either speak English or you don't. If there's any type of doubt, then let's do the evaluation. But yeah, get prepared for that. The next question, ¿qué días y horarios tiene disponibles para tomar clases? You want to make sure you know what time they're looking for classes. Maybe you can't work with them now, but this information will help you as you launch classes in the future. So that information is very important. And you can ask them if they're looking for classes in person or Zoom. Prefiere clases presenciales o por Zoom. The trick here is to give out less information. People are making split-second decisions these days. So if you say one thing that they don't like, they're going to hang up the phone or tell you they're not interested or something like that. So it's weird, but you actually want to give out less information and really focus on getting this information so that when it is time to give them the information, you know exactly what information to give them. Keep in mind, most people, they've just seen your ad at a carniceria. They're curious. They're not ready to make a decision. So most people just want to call and they're looking for pricing, location, and hours, but you have to kind of flip that around and get that information from them. And then once you have that information, you can shoot towards scheduling that introductory class. So once you've got the information, set up that introductory lesson. So say something like, muy bien, recomiendo que comencemos con una clase introductoria por $20 para conocernos. Vamos a comenzar con una evaluación para determinar su nivel actual y de ahí le voy a dar una clase según la evaluación para confirmar que sea el nivel correcto. Si le gusta todo, vamos a terminar creando un plan de estudio según sus metas, disponibilidad y presupuesto. So this works really well because, again, you're establishing yourself as the authority. You're going above and beyond. A lot of places, they just say, you know, hey, come in, and you're actually kind of putting this like, first we need to figure out if we're going to work well together and make sure that, you know, this program is going to work for you. So instead of like most places that are just trying to get as many people to come in the doors as possible, you're doing something a little bit different, and it's going to sound more professional to the person. And they're really going to like the fact that you're saying, hey, first and foremost, we need to figure out what we're doing. And then we're going to do it to make sure you like it. And then we're going to create this plan together based on your goals, your availability, and your budget. It just establishes a certain level of professionalism that most English teachers and English schools are not doing. So you definitely want to do this. Now, I've mentioned this, that what you're, one thing you want to do, especially in the beginning, is to go ahead and set up introductory lessons. And I highly recommend you start doing this by delivering private lessons until you get about 10 students. It's going to take you a little bit of time to get comfortable going through this program. And the only way to get comfortable is to do it. You can review the presentations, you can watch my videos over and over and over again, but until you actually do it live with a student, it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable. I love starting this out with private lessons just because it's, you know, it's much more comfortable. It's a low pressure environment. If you do this the first time with a full class of 8 students, there's going to be a whole lot of anxiety in that for you. So go ahead and get started doing private lessons so you feel comfortable. That way, when you're ready to launch your first group class, you know exactly what to do. You've done it before, and it'll just feel good. This is all geared towards getting you up and running, right? You have to learn the program and build that confidence. Now, I recommend you start with $20 an hour for your first 10 students. You can use that as a special deal for them to create a sense of urgency. You don't necessarily have to tell them that you're doing it for your first 10 students. But $20 an hour is an extremely low cost for most places here in the United States. I want to be very firm and clear. I want you to make $100 an hour or more. So this isn't forever. This is just to get started and just to get comfortable. $20 an hour is what we call low friction, right? It just makes it an easy decision. If you get your first student on the phone and you say, oh, it's $100 an hour, you're going to be transmitting a certain level of insecurity when you're on that phone call and these first few phone calls. And so if you start with a super high price and that level of insecurity is going to turn people off right away. So go ahead and make it just as frictionless as possible. Start with a low rate. And as your skills grow, as your confidence grows, that's when you're going to start to raise your rates. All right, we'll talk about all that later. Okay, plan B. Let's say they're not ready to start with that introductory class. No worries. You have collected their contact information, their name, the level, or if they need to take an evaluation. They should have told you what days and times they're available for classes, if they're comfortable in person or on Zoom. And all this is going to go towards a list that you're creating so that when you're ready to launch that first class, you know who to contact, right? If you've captured information that people are looking for morning classes, or more importantly, if you get a certain amount of people you can see that are looking for morning classes, then that will help you plan your first class, right? Let's say you have 3 people, they say they're ready in the morning, and 20 people that say they're ready at night. Well, guess what? Start your first class at night. This information is all going to help you as you plan your classes in the future. So go ahead and start now, even if you're not ready to teach. So your to-do list after watching this video is to set up your voicemail message. Go ahead and use the same script that I used. Start practicing the scripts. You can just look at yourself in the mirror and practice the scripts, trying to anticipate some of these questions the students might be asking you. But go ahead and say it out loud a few times to get comfortable with it. And most importantly, when that phone rings, go ahead and answer it. Save every name, number, and relevant information in that spreadsheet. Update your notes after each call or text. Don't wait to do it later. Go ahead and do it now so you don't forget. And start scheduling those intro classes immediately every chance you can. Alrighty, see you in the next video.